Man, I was really excited to just simply talk about some positive Red Sox baseball. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Sea Radio. My name is Corbin, and things are not too good between the Red Sox and Rafael Devers right now after a big series dub in which the Red Sox DH was a major part of. He got some media time after the game and was asked about potentially moving over to first base, and boy, did he have some things to say. He laid it all out on the table in this one. So we're going to break it down, the full media scrum with all the quotes that you guys need to know and sort of give my initial reactions to everything here. And we're going to start with some of the quotes that came out of this media session. Now, I got these from a very talented beat writer by the name of Christopher Smith. I will put the full link to the article in the description. But the quotes I wanted to start with here was when the initial response when he was asked whether or not the Red Sox had asked him to move over to first base. Quote, "They had the conversation with me. I don't think for me personally, it's the best decision. After they asked me to play a different position, and I only have 2 months of playing this position, to all of a sudden have me try and play another position, from my end, it doesn't seem like a good decision." He then went on to say, "I know I'm a ball player, but at the same time, they can't expect me to play every single position out there. In spring training, they asked me and basically told me to put away my glove, that I wasn't going to play any other position but DH. So right now, I just feel like it is not an appropriate decision by them to ask me to play another position." He then finished up this statement with, "They told me that they didn't want to allow me to play any other position. And now I think they should do their job, essentially, and hit the market and look for another player to play first base. I'm not sure why they want me to be in between the way they have me now." Yeah, man, this is not great. Look, honestly, I was very much on Rafael Devers' side in the first media scrum, right? The one all the way back in February when he was sort of not attacked, these guys were doing their jobs, but just absolutely bombarded with questions about whether or not he'd be playing for third base. And right, it was a very, very quick decision. This time around, I got to tell you, I'm kind of torn as to whose side is right. To be honest with you, I kind of think they're both in the wrong. I still think Rafael Devers has every right to say no to this position change. I think from Rafael Devers' perspective, I'd be a little salty as well. I mean, let's go through the timeline here. You talk about why would Rafael Devers be upset about moving to first base? Well, coming into spring training, he's told basically 2 days after Alex Bregman is signed that, look, in order for this team to get better, you can't play the field. In order for this team to win games, you can't play the field. He's told a month before the season that he's going to be switching positions. Oh, Corbin, DH isn't a position switch. All he's doing is cutting his workload in half. And yes, physically, DH is a much easier position than anywhere else in the diamond, but mentally, it's a whole different game, right? Your only output towards your team, the only way that you can help your team succeed is 4 times a game, potentially 5. And if you don't, you're a negative value player. That is a whole lot to deal with mentally. Every single at-bat means a whole lot more. Rafael Devers had to make that transition in a month, and what it led to was a historically bad start, right? Legitimately historically. It was one of the worst starts ever for a player. He finally gets around to accepting the role that he had been basically forced into, right? He didn't choose to become a DH. He didn't say, look, guys, I'm not good on the field. I'm just going to hit bombs. He wanted to be out there. The Red Sox said, no, you can't be out there. He said, fine, I'm going to do what's best for the team. I will give up my position. I will go and become a full-time DH. It took some time, but now he's legitimately playing really good baseball, right? He's a big reason why the Red Sox even won this series against the Texas Rangers. He is a legitimate factor on this team right now, and at the end of the day, that is Rafael Devers' best asset, right? It does not matter if Rafael Devers is told to play first base, third base, DH, catcher, or center field. His defense will always be second to what he produces at the plate. The Red Sox will not win games if Rafael Devers is not hitting at the plate. So from Rafi's perspective, it is kind of understandable. Hey, I already made a major sacrifice just to put this team in a better position to win. Now you're asking me not to make a sacrifice, but to totally change everything I finally gotten accustomed to and put in jeopardy, once again, my best asset, the biggest asset that helps me win games, right? From Rafi's perspective, I kind of get where he's coming from. I do, right? I understand it. If I was told at work, hey, look, we're going to put you in this new position, You barely get used to it. You struggle for a couple of months, and then all of a sudden your boss comes to you and says, sorry, too bad, you're going to another position. There'd be part of you that would say, look, dude, I'm good, right? I'm okay. Thanks a lot, though. Or, hey, look, I might start looking for another job if I'm being yanked around from position to position here. From Rafi's perspective, all he's saying is, look, I already made my sacrifice. I did what I had to do. I was told to put away the glove to win baseball games. I'm not exactly jumping up the gun to get that glove back on here and go out and play defensively for an organization that told me they don't want my defense on the field. I already made my sacrifice. Why do I need to do it again? Why do I need to start over midway through the season? On top of that, Rafael Devers wouldn't be a stellar first baseman at first. We all know that, right? I'm not meaning first base the position. I'm saying immediately. If you threw him out there tomorrow, he's probably not looking the best either. It's not an exact immediate solution. I think Rafael Devers has some arguments here. However, and I know people aren't going to watch all the way through this video and just be like, oh, you're glazing Rafael Devers. He needs to be a man of the people. Let me continue here before we start the arguments. There are quotes like these and then quotes like the ones Rafael Devers said where he said something like, here in the club, when he was asked about his relationship with the Red Sox, here in the clubhouse, thankfully, the relationship that I have with my teammates is great. I don't understand some of the decisions that the GM makes. Next thing you know, someone in the outfield gets hurt and they want me to play the outfield. I think I know the kind of player I am, and yeah, that's where I stand. And it's quote like these that just make me cringe a little bit because there can't be a full part of Rafael Devers that doesn't understand this from a GM perspective, right? If you're Craig Breslow, and we've talked about this a few times since Tristan Casas went down. I wasn't in favor of Rafael Devers at first base to start the season, but situations change. Everything changed when Tristan Casas was out for the year. All of a sudden, Craig Breslow's in this incredibly tough position. How do I fill not only first base, but the potential at-bats that Tristan Casas could have given you this year? I understand he did not look good to start the year, but what you could have gotten potentially is a middle-of-the-order legitimate power left-handed bat. You have to somehow replace that potential at first base. That's a tall ask. Or, what would be helpful is if a power left-hander like Rafael Devers was able to take over first base and you could figure out how to get that bat into the lineup in the DH position, because then that opens up a whole world of conversations. You can get Massa back up here. You get Roman Anthony here, right? And you can have him cycle in and out of the DH spot. You could bring that potential legitimate impact left-handed bat without actually having to go out and sacrifice for it. From Craig Breslow's perspective, it also makes sense, right? Like, you're sitting there and you're saying, Rafi, you sat there the whole offseason. You sat there all spring training, basically pissing and moaning here about the fact that you're not playing the field. You get an opportunity to play the field again. No, it's not at third base, but you're still on the field again. Why are we upset, right? I'm just trying to figure this out here. And I think that's where I'm kind of at from the other point of view. It's like, Rafi, why'd you spend the entire offseason complaining about the idea of not being able to play the field, and then you get an opportunity to play the field, regardless of whether or not it's at third base, and you're like, no, what the hell? Why are we doing this? And then you go out and you be so brutally honest with the media about your opinions on the Red Sox, you start to cause a bit of a sideshow here. If you're a teammate of Rafael Devers, you can't exactly be pumped about these statements, right? The team is in a worse spot than it was a week ago because you lost Tristan Casas. I get it. He was bad offensively. I'm talking about potential of 162 here. I'm not talking about his first 30 games. You're sitting there like, how do we fix this? Rafael Devers could be a solution. He's refusing to do that. As a teammate, you have to be like, what are we doing? On top of that, this just gives media, gives fans something to gravel over, something to dig their teeth into in a negative light, right? What you're doing is creating a sideshow from what should be actually the focus of this season, which is what happens on the field. So from that point of view, I don't really understand why Rafael Devers is doing this, right? If he had gone out there to the media and instead of sitting there and saying, hey, all of this stuff and being brutally honest, which I love, by the way. I like when players are brutally honest. One, it gives us some actual insight into what's going on behind closed doors. And two, I think they deserve to speak their minds. People will say, oh, they're employees. They're getting paid too much money to bitch and complain. I don't really think that. I think these are human beings at the end of the day. I think they have a right to their opinion. They have a right to share their opinion. At the same time, Rafael Devers, what he's done is created this circus in order to avoid that. All he could have said is, No, I don't think I'm going to play first base. I made my opinions very clear privately. We're going to keep those conversations privately. At the end of the day, I don't determine what the Red Sox do. I leave that up to other people, right? He still would have made his opinion clear, but he wouldn't have caused all of this commotion. And I think that's the way Rafael Devers should have gone about it. You look at all of this and you sit there and you say, come on, man, right? The Red Sox, they just won a series. They've been scuffling for a little bit. Rafael Devers is a big part of that. There were celebrations in the clubhouse. They were looking good, feeling good coming off of these 2 games. Guys were getting healthier. We talked about it this morning. The Red Sox seem to be picking up steam a little bit. All of a sudden, you're in a completely negative space immediately, right? Fans don't go, hey, they won 2 games. Who cares about what Rafael Devers said? No, of course, right? Fans are going to care about their star player saying something that ultimately makes him look a little bit selfish. And again, it's not his fault. I think at the end of the day, I think the Red Sox jerking him around a little bit isn't exactly great for the team either. They could have come out and they could have said very early on and put this to bed, we don't think Rafael Devers would be our solution at first base. Instead, Craig Breslow left the door open, and you end up with conversations like this. If you had that conversation privately, which Rafael Devers confirmed that you had, all you do is go to the media and say, yeah, look, Rafael Devers, he's not going to be playing first base. There would be no real questioning from the media because then the story dies. If your front office is saying it, if your manager is saying it, there's no story there. They don't want Rafael Devers at first base, when in reality, it's Rafa who doesn't want to be over at first base. So I don't know. I understand both sides of this coin right now. I'm kind of just torn in the middle, and I hate it. At the end of the day, I genuinely hate this. I hate Rafael Devers being upset. I hate that he's not being a team player. I hate that it's going to affect the team. I hate that it's going to be a sideline, storyline, circus-type story that follows the Red Sox throughout the season. No, I don't think they should trade him, and I hate that it's going to open the door for numbskulls, no offense if you think this, that think they need to trade Rafael Devers. I think that's a dumb situation. I think he's hurt. I think he's angry. I don't think he deserves to be traded. I don't think the Red Sox are a better team if he gets traded. I just think this whole situation sucks. It does, right? I think if all they had done during spring training is worked him out at first base, worked him out at third base, and then during the season we're like, hey, Casas went down. I wonder if he's more open to the idea, right? But this is what I'm talking about. It's both sides are in the wrong here. I don't think there's any right, and it's driving me absolutely crazy. I hate this, but it's just my opinion. So let me know in the comments down below, whose side are you on? Which way are you going? What would you have done if you were Rafael Devers in this situation? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. Just simply helps out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you, hopefully talking about actual baseball. But either way, we'll be seeing you in the red seats.